These are the first words of my journaling challenge that I will try out for the next 30 days. I actually have so many reasons to be excited for this.
Oh, hey there. You want to see what's in this? You're going to have to watch the rest of the video to find out. So as you can see from the title of this video, I decided to journal for 30 days. More specifically, I would sit down in bed, take out this notebook, and write a full single-spaced page in this notebook for about 15 to 20 minutes to have some nice reflection at the end of my days. I'll just start by saying it was very different than my experience quitting caffeine for 30 days, which, might I add, was not that great. Anyways, instead of removing something that I really enjoyed from my life, honestly, once again, why did I do that? I don't really. Back to the video. I essentially did this because I was getting myself to do something that I really enjoyed or could possibly really enjoy, rather than removing something that I liked a lot. And it was different in the sense that a lot of people have told me before that journaling's good for you. I've read a lot of studies on it. In an article posted by the University of Rochester Medical Center, it has been said that journaling does some amazing things, which include, it can help manage anxiety, reduce stress, and it can help you cope with your depression.
The reason for this is that it helps you prioritize your problems, fears, and concerns, and can help you track any negativity you have in your day-to-day life, while also counteracting it with a daily opportunity for positive self-talk and negative thought identification. When I started journaling, I wasn't quite sure how it was going to go. Most nights before doing this challenge, I usually would just work on things or watch some TV or YouTube and then go straight to bed. Due to this challenge, however, I started doing something relaxing and stimulation-free instead.
However, in the beginning, I will admit that it didn't start out like that.
At first, I was listening to music as I journaled, but over time, I opted out of doing it.
Going back to the beginning of this video, I had so many different reasons that I was excited about starting my 30-day journaling challenge. Number one was that I was struggling to do what was at that time my usual form of reflection.
For those of you that don't know, I would reflect each week by looking over my time tracking results from the app Toggle.
After a while, it just felt like work to constantly update my time tracking as well as my block schedule, which, as many of you know, I use all the time, but on any given day, most days, my block schedule will change and I'll have to adjust it. And honestly, keeping up with that and managing my time and tracking my time, it was all getting to be just a little bit too much. At the beginning of this challenge, I told myself I would rather do the journaling and have some real reflection for 30 straight days than do the time tracking. And by the end of it, I ultimately made the decision to get rid of my time tracking and that version of reflection from my life.
Up until that time, I had been meticulously tracking and reflecting on my weekly hours spent doing various tasks. This ranged from sleep to time spent on school, YouTube, working out, and even a habit tracker.
This journaling made me realize that after about 4 to 6 weeks of tracking your time, you pretty much have it figured out how often you need to do things, or overall how often you spend doing things. So for example, I knew I would spend a certain amount of time on schoolwork or working out or doing this YouTube thing. And after that 4 to 6 weeks, I was like, okay, so I'm still going to be in school for another year. I really don't need to figure out how much time I can spend on these different things because I had tracked my time for months and that was great. But I honestly only needed like a 4 to 6 week sample size because, in school you go through the cycle of doing homework, exam over and over again. And that kind of gave me the full view of it in about 4 to 6 weeks. More than that's just kind of excessive, and that can be the same way for a job. So if you want to track your time, do it for about 4 to 6 weeks, and then when you're done with it, you can make a block schedule around what your life was like for those 4 to 6 weeks, and you'll pretty much have an average figured out. Due to all the data that I had, even though I only needed 4 to 6 weeks, I was able to make a block schedule and framework for this entire semester, which is going to help me so much in making my planning and my day-to-day activities that much easier.
Dropping my old form of reflection also led me to completely getting rid of my habit tracking and calendar tracker in Notion. Now I have switched to focusing on building habits and tracking only 3 at a time with a habit tracking app called Done. I'll be making a video on this awesome app at some point during this year.
Looking back on it, this journaling challenge actually is the reason that I got this minimalist wardrobe. So as many of you know, I haven't made a video on it yet, so not spoilers, kind of spoilers. I wanted to make a minimalist wardrobe because I had about 3 days to pack for a 4th of July weekend get together with my roommates and some other of my friends, and I couldn't get the right outfits to match. I am really severely colorblind, as I've mentioned to people, and I knew only certain things matched. And upon further looking into my wardrobe, a bunch of things were in the laundry. And I was like a few days away from packing. So yeah, could I have waited for the laundry to be done? Yeah, but I was really frustrated at the fact that I had all these clothes And basically none of them matched. Maybe one outfit had matched for that weekend, and I was like, what's the point of having all these clothes? I then told myself, I'm just gonna pull a Matt Diavella. I'm just gonna get a bunch of gray and black t-shirts, and that's it.
I'll talk about it more in a future video, but I can gladly say that I am happy I made the decision to change my wardrobe to one where everything matches and I have very small variations to my wardrobe overall.
My second reason for why I was so excited to get into journaling was because I had had this awesome YouTube growth and I really wanted to document my feelings on it as I went along. I know I've mentioned in previous videos how I support a lot of other YouTubers, and while I keep trying to do that, it's kind of important at this point for me to support the same people, because if I keep spreading myself too thin, I'm not going to be able to support the people I originally did, and that's just kind of not the right thing to do in my opinion. And I haven't kept up on it as much as I want to. Let's just get that out of the way. It's kind of been hard since, but my journaling challenge helped me overcome a lot of things that ended up happening when I wasn't able to reach out as much as I'd like to, and subsequently my growth was affected as well. I had just reached 1,000 subs, and I told myself that that portion of the support was going to have to slow down. I couldn't outreach as much because I didn't want to spread myself too thin, and I knew the support I was going to get and the growth I was going to get was going to slow down for a little while at least.
Journaling really helped me come to terms with the fact that just because my sub growth is slowing does not make my content any worse or my overall trajectory on this platform to be any worse.
This was honestly because I had a pretty fair problem with the amount of slowdown that I ended up having. I think that for me, I'm a very goal-oriented person, and seeing the analytics kind of slow down over that past month, actually that 30 days, and then since then, it's slowed down a bit and kind of leveled off and then is more on the upward trajectory now. But dealing with that slowdown really negatively impacted my mind. But I will say, with that reflection, it helped me more than I ever could have asked for. Now, the third reason I was really excited to get into journaling, and what ended up being something that was awesome, was the fact that I hadn't written down anything physically in months.
Due to online classes and the way YouTube and blogging can be, I ended up writing all of my scripts, outlines, and doing all of my classwork by typing on the computer.
Over the course of 30 days, I found it alarmingly awesome and calming writing physical things down in a notebook, which I hadn't done in such a long time. I can honestly say that it was so nice to do something that was so completely disconnected from technology. I will say that I noticed something pretty interesting but also odd at the end of every journal entry. Starting from the very beginning, at the end, I would always write until tomorrow. At the beginning of everything, writing that until tomorrow was kind of weird to me. I was like, okay, why are you writing that at the end of the journal entry? I mean, you're gonna do it tomorrow. And then I kind of realized that may have just been me telling myself subliminally that I had to do it tomorrow, and I was trying to remind myself.
To be honest, I actually very much enjoyed my journaling by the time I finished it most nights. So maybe it was just my way of saying to myself, hey, that was nice. I'm really excited to do this tomorrow.
So as I was writing this script, I was asking myself, how could I tell you guys pretty much completely how I felt about the whole process? What was my thoughts on journaling? It's been a couple weeks since I've last journaled. It's like 3 weeks at the recording date of this since the challenge ended. And I wanted to think to myself, okay, what can I say that I thought about the journaling process? Then I realized the answer was right in front of me.
July 29th, 2020. This is my last day of journaling, but to be honest, I wish it wasn't. In all technicality, I can keep journaling and I probably will. Something about having time to get my thoughts out of my head has been amazing for me, and I need to incorporate this in one way or another moving forward. I'm extremely grateful for this challenge and the life I have. Until next time.
Honestly, I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, I did say it myself. You guys get what I mean. I'm beyond glad that this challenge helped me learn more about myself, and that each and every challenge moving forward will do the same. Each and every night, I found myself pouring my heart and soul into this, and by the end of it, I realized, I'm doing the right thing with these 30-day challenges, and that's something that I'm really happy about, because starting it, I wasn't quite sure. I didn't miss a single day of journaling, just like with the no caffeine challenge, and there was only one day where I had to electronically journal, and that was when I was actually on that 4th of July get-together, and I couldn't journal by the time it was midnight, so I did it on my phone at like 11 just to remind myself that I needed to do it. And when I did it, I was like, all right, well, I guess that's my one for the whole 30 days. I'd call these past 30 days an overall success, and I'd recommend it to anybody who asked me whether they should do it or not, because all of the benefits that people have labeled, that worked for me. With journaling, I will say that it had more of an aspect, and probably the most of an aspect, of solidarity that I've had in any of these challenges so far. Keyword being so far.